Darius and Carmen, your channel is all about infinite banking, and people on the internet still say it is a scam. Is this true or not? Well, let's get into the video. My name is Carmen.
And I'm Darius. And in addition to that, one of the top 4 insurance companies said they do not support infinite banking. So what do?
OMG.
Well, by the end of this video, we're going to let you know.
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the point. So first and foremost, infinite banking is not a scam, right? You just have to understand the process and how it works. So what we're going to say with the very first point is that you have to do your research and you have to understand this product, or it's not a product. Life insurance is the product. The process is infinite banking, but you have to understand this process like you would invest your time in understanding anything else, right? Like you're not going to buy a car without understanding how it works, how to turn the windshield wipers on, how to turn the lights on, or even how to understand the safety ratings, right? So with everything, you have to go into understanding how the process works so that you can make sure that it makes sense for you and your family and the goals that you're trying to accomplish.
Right. And I would say the second thing is understanding that not all agents are the same. And what you want to do is work with an agent that not only has a policy that they're using for this or their lifestyle supports, but they also understand the inner workings of how you may want to use the policy for yourself personally.
I like how you said that. Like, every agent doesn't have the same level of understanding. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really important, referencing that memo that was leaked by one of the top 4 mutual companies, like a reputable company, right? They said that they don't support infinite banking. And it's important for you all to understand that. And what does that mean? Because really for us, infinite banking is a lifestyle. It's not a sales tactic. And you have to understand the difference between both, because what we're finding in the industry as this topic gets more popular, people are using the term infinite banking as a sales tactic to lure people in, to get them into their offices and selling them policies that may not fit that lifestyle approach, right? So you really have to go back to point number 1, which is understanding how this works and how it's going to impact your household.
Yeah, and no matter how you cut it, slice it, or create it, it's still going to be a whole life insurance policy, which is just a tool to do the process of infinite banking. So you can't create an infinite banking insurance product, because it just doesn't exist. It's a whole life insurance policy that we use in the place of going to the bank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the other thing too is understanding that the difference between the lifestyle and the sales tactic is, sometimes there's just irresponsible things that happen. For example, if you get an overfunded whole life insurance policy, you get your loan and you don't pay the loan back, that's not a responsible tactic, right? You should never be sold that. You should never even be taught that not to pay back the loans. The point of this process is to give you flexibility. Maybe you might not pay the loan back immediately, right, within 6 months or a year, but you have a plan to pay back.
Or 2 years or 3 years.
Yeah, you have a payback plan in place. So the idea, again, is making sure that you understand how this works. You know the responsible tactics. You have to pay back the loans. You have to pay back the interest. You're not just using the cash value that's building up to pay back the loans, because that wrecks the system. And again, just making sure that you also know that before you get a policy, really there should be 3 parties that are considered. The first party is you, the customer. The second is the agent. And the third is the insurance company. And how this works is, as the customer, it is the agent's responsibility to provide you with a product, a sound product that is going to stand the test of time, and to also educate you to understand how this works. Especially why I say the test of time, because it is a whole life product. You're going to be insured for your entire life. So you have to make sure that you understand how the ratios work. If you are overfunding this, what are the different components that go into building that policy, and how is it going to work long term? You have to understand all of those inner workings. And then now that you're satisfied as a customer and said, okay, this product is what I want, then it goes to the agent, right? Because the agent has to make sure that you have the education in place and that they have to help you maintain this policy for your whole life. So they also have to write something that is sound as well, because their lifestyle depends on the products that they sell.
Yeah, and one thing with that is that you are a client for that agent's life. whichever comes first. Your life, the rest of your life, and the agent's life, whichever comes first.
And then the third party with this is the insurance company. They have to make sure that you are maintaining a sound product that is profitable for them, right? At the end of the day, because it's all about business. So the three parties have to always be considered when we are writing policies, right? Because we're licensed life insurance as well. And the main thing that we have to make sure is we're satisfying every party's opportunity to advance, right? Because everybody has an opportunity to advance when they have a life insurance contract. So these are things that we take into consider. And if there is a lack of understanding how this lifestyle process works, that can affect how all three parties are considered in the transaction when you actually get a policy.
Right. And that puts me in a mindset of making sure that it's balanced.
Yes.
Because there's one thing to have your cash value, another thing to have your base premium, but there has to be a balance between the two and a balance of paying the loans back, because the whole point of getting a loan is to have that loan take the place of what you would finance through a bank, which means you would pay the bank back. So you have to pay yourself back or pay the insurance company back principal and interest so that you have more money available to use in the future. That's the lifestyle. That's not the insurance policy. That's the lifestyle that we're talking about.
Exactly. And if you want to learn more about what it is that we do on the Wealth Nation channel, then definitely click on the link below. We would love to serve you. And also, if you want to reach out to us, click on the link below. We are not going to reach out to you in the comments. Spam alert, we are not in your comments. So let's move on to the next point, and just understanding also too, the life insurance companies have to be aware of things that could come up with money laundering, right? Because if you're trying to dump a ton of money into this policy and then immediately take it out, they're going to start throwing some flags up going, wait a second, what'd you try to do with this money? Because there's other means of being able to fund policies responsibly. And they always have to consider the ratios, your activity, what's going on, because they can never allow you to use these products for money laundering, obviously.
So one thing to consider with the memo is, yes, the memo went out saying that this specific insurance company isn't supporting infinite banking, but it was a way for them to protect themselves against some activities that may come up that isn't in the best interest of them or the agent.
And then the thing to note now, right, is like, if you have a policy that was written for maximum cash value, what does this mean for you now? What does this mean for you in the future? And the fact is you have a contract, right? So the insurance company has to honor that contract. We're talking about what you are going to do in the future if you decide to get more policies or if you're doing your research. It's just all about making sure, again, I can't stress this enough, that you understand how it works, that you know you're getting a balanced policy. And a lot of ways that you're able to overcome this is when you work with agents who are actually endorsing this into their lifestyle every day. Like Darius and myself, like our team, it's always important that you just interview the people that you're working with and figure out how they are applying it and how they're making their lifestyle changes through using the cash value inside a whole life insurance policy.
And if you're interested in getting more education prior to you getting a policy, then join the Wealth Nation community, because that's what our community is all about, is educating people on how to use your policy responsibly before you get a policy.
Yeah, exactly. And going back to those of you who have existing policies, again, if you need to go back, read the ledger, understand what you have in your hand, do so, and connect with the agent that sold you that policy to make sure that you understand the ins and outs, how things are going to affect it today, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the line. It's your responsibility to understand the products and services that you buy. Never rely on the person who sold you that policy to make them responsible of the product that you have in your hands. And that's what we truly believe, is that you need to understand what you are buying and what you're consuming, because you just don't know what that's going to mean for your household and how this is going to affect you long term.
Right. And if you want more information on infinite banking and how it works, check out our next video where we give you an idea of how infinite banking works.
And don't forget to own your own lifestyle,
or someone else will.